Good morning, everyone. I'm going to leave the microphone on this mic stand because I have a solo I need to go ahead. Oh, they don't have the music. If they had the music, we would actually go ahead and move forward. But let's give it up for our kids. Let's give it up for our children. Let me go ahead and tell you something. I've been in a lot of intense situations in the past with sports, with all kind of crazy stuff. Backstage is as intense as you can imagine. I'm talking about we have kids who are back there who are being kids. They're being kids, they're enjoying themselves, they're having conversations, and as soon as it's ready to start, boom, they're about business. And it's amazing to see them be able to switch that light on and off because our kids are able to do those things. And what we've seen here is just an example of what happens when we have high expectations for our children. Now, when we have high expectations for our children will live up to those expectations. Now, they're going to be kids, and they're going to make some decisions that we're not always going to agree with, and we're going to have to make sure we correct them because they are children. But high expectations are those things that pushes our kids to do more, to do better. And you guys have had high expectations, and this is an example of high expectations for our children. Once again, let's give them a hand. Hopefully they can still hear that out there. So again, thank you all for coming in this morning to have a conversation and to continue to develop ourselves as educators. And as we've always done, we focused on every child, every day together. And as you can tell, there's nothing that's changed with these slides. There's nothing that's changed because the mission is still the same. It is not something where we're going to be going this way one day and then we decide, okay, let's just go ahead and put that to the side and let's go ahead and go in a different direction. You guys have helped us really develop a mission for our children. Your feedback, the things that you have given us and you've taught us as educators, that is how we get better every single year. We do those things to get better, but we also remain consistent. So when we're talking about every child, we're talking about growing kids every day. Every single child, we want to focus on growing them. The key is that child better because you were the teacher, because you had them in your classroom, because you put your arms around them this year and told them it's going to be okay. That is what we're talking about with every child, and we're growing every child, focused on culturally responsible practices, and then we're going to talk about every day. Yes, same picture. I'll go ahead, I'm going to toot my own horn today. I am proud of myself because the snow didn't kill me this year. Can I be proud of that? Not because the weather was great. Yeah, okay. Give me a little bit on that, oh man. So I survived. Let me tell you what I did because I was so nervous about the winter. I went and bought a big truck. I bought a pickup truck. And I said, I cannot get a truck if it doesn't have four-wheel drive because this winter is going to kill me. And then it snowed once. Like, okay, I'll be prepared for next year, though. I'll be prepared for next year. But we're also working on just making sure that we are consistent every single day, that we are here every day. I'm looking and the room is a little less full than usual. But you are here. You are who I'm concerned about. You are the folks who decided to come in here and know that this is a day that is important for us to make sure that we are focused, that we are doing those things to get better for kids, and you are here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being consistent. And the next slide is together. So let me go ahead and tell you why I put this picture up here. I didn't want to just show me. I wanted to show myself and Sonny Johnson right there. I'm going to tell you why. So yesterday, along with Music Express, the mayor, council folks, all folks, we got together with Bootsy Collins. Anybody here know Bootsy Collins? Anybody know about Parliament, Funkadelic, James Brown? Yeah, that Bootsy Collins. We were actually at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, we're two old guys, and we're usually very cool until it was time for us to take a picture. So Sonny is back there putting his arms on him and like looking at me to take the picture. Like, take the picture. I'm taking pictures. And we were as excited as we have ever been, but we were very youthful together. We enjoy that together. And that togetherness is what helps us to grow together. Whether we are in a classroom, whether we are out on the football field, out on the basketball court, we're doing this thing together. If we fail, we fail together. But if we win together. That is what this is all about, making sure that we're doing this together, that we're bringing in folks from the outside, we're getting with the city, we're making sure that we are doing this together. Now, we also had another piece of this that we wanted to make sure that we focus on is our academic plan. The academic plan will not change. These are the areas that we'll continue to focus on. I know you wanted to know why we were doing all that teacher clarity, what we were doing, all these things on social emotional learning, because this is the way for all my Mandalorian fans out there. This is the way. This is how we get to where we need to go. Not just talking about just test scores, but this is how we grow our kids. This is how we make our kids better. This is how we get better as educators. We do this thing, we create a plan and we follow that plan. We make adjustments along the way, but we follow the plan. And along with that plan, we also focus on our SEL, social emotional learning. It is extremely important to know that this goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do for our children. Understanding our kids, knowing where they want, knowing who they want to be, helping them to grow as individuals. That is a job that works hand in hand with what we're trying to do academically. And now, we can just kind of reflect on a couple of things. We're going to go back with a couple of meetings that we've had in the past, and we just kind of reflect on a couple of meetings. One, WTF. Not that one, not that WTF. Where's the fire? We talked about bringing that fire. When I talked about in the church that I belong to, we talked about the Spirit. We can't just come in here and hopefully we'll get the Spirit. We bring the Spirit along with us. So we bring that fire along with us. But it's also our job as educators, as colleagues, to also feed the fire that we see in others. You see folks who are interested in one thing, let's feed that fire. You see that there's potential in another thing, let's feed that fire. But we continue to feed the fire of our educators. Then we had Batman. I'm always going to throw some DC or Marvel in there. We talked about Batman, tell of two different stories where Batman and the Joker both have origin stories that's in tragedy. But there was one thing that was different. The one thing that was different was the unsung hero. It was Alfred. Yeah, and the fact that Bruce Wayne had $1 billion too, but it was Alfred. Alfred was that unsung hero who made sure, dealing with a kid who had some trauma, had tragedy, but had those high expectations, held Bruce Wayne accountable, also guided Bruce Wayne, made sure that he was doing the things that he needed to do to be the hero that he has become. And then we talked about what we wanted our story to be, how we wanted our story to end. What would they think about us after this thing is over? What are our kids going to say about you when they go off and they do great things? Are they going to say that you were a dream keeper or a dream builder, or are they going to say otherwise? What will they say about you? What will they believe in you? Are you giving yourself every single day to make sure that your legacy is held high? That you are helping kids every day who will then one day come back and end up helping you as well. And then we talked about, you never know who's watching. Now, I just kind of borrowed the idea that he did that because he saw my bow tie. But the fact of the matter is that we don't know when our kids are watching. Our kids are paying close attention to us to see how we're carrying ourselves, see how consistent we are, to see when we are showing up, to see if we are at that door welcoming them to walk into that classroom every single day. They are watching us. They're watching us when we're happy, sad, mad, all of the emotions. They're watching us. What are you showing them? And then today, we're going to talk about something else. Resistance training. Resistance training. Who's all getting ready for the summertime? Who's ready for this summer to really jump off? Yeah. And before I even get into it, give me 1 second. That was my workout right there, by the way. That was my workout. So we're focused on resistance training. I want to kind of give you guys some things to focus on as you're getting ready for that beach, getting ready to hang out and go in the backyard and be shirtless as you're cutting grass, fellas. I know you're thinking about that. I already know. I can't do that. But one thing there's some things I need you to know. So what is the toughest thing about getting in shape? Day one, getting started. How many times you guys have done this as you're driving back home and you see the gym? I'll go tomorrow. I'm gonna start this thing off next week. It's gonna be Monday. Right at the beginning of the semester, I'm gonna go ahead and that is the toughest part. Day one, getting it started. And once you get it started, you get into a groove, and then you start working on consistency. You're committing to the process. Like, okay, here's my plan. Here's the thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go and do some of this resistance training. And again, everybody knows about resistance training. It's a training that basically you're using some weights, and maybe it's a medicine ball, maybe it's rubber bands, and the whole gist of it is to make sure that you are getting stronger. The point of it is to get stronger, to build endurance. That's the point of it. So consistency plays a huge part of it, and you start small. You start small and you work your way up. Why do you start small and work your way up? So if I start off with this, I'm gonna get used to this, but what happens? I need a heavier weight to get stronger. Lightweight to get started, heavier weights to get stronger. Somebody need to hear that. The more the weight is, the stronger you get. That's how this thing works with resistance. The stronger you get with the heavier the weight. And the other area is develop a team. Why do you need a team when we're talking about resistance training? You need a team because some days you don't have it. Some days you're not feeling it. But your team comes to you and they support you. Some days you're gonna go ahead and you start lifting, and what do you need your team to do? You need your team to spot you. You need them to spot you because you don't want to hurt yourself. You want them to help you get that weight up. That is what building a team is all about. And the last area is see the results. Because what happens when you start seeing the results? You're motivated. You're motivated to do more. You see the results, you see a little line in your arm right there, like, oh, I see something. It might just be the light, but I see something. There's a little light in my arm. But guess what? You guys have been doing resistance training all year. You've been doing resistance training all year. Every day you've been working, and we've been throwing some things at you that's been brand new for you. It's been brand new. It's been some things you're like, what is this all? What is this teacher clarity thing? What is this SEL thing? What is this cultural responsive thing? What is this? But one day you decided, okay, let me give it a shot. That was your day one. Some of you guys, day one was a year ago. It was 5 years ago. But some of your day ones began right at the beginning of the year. And that is where the work begins, your day one. Then you were consistent. You were consistently showing up. You were consistently in the house. You were consistently trying those little things that's going to get you there. You were consistently saying, I don't feel it today, but I got to get in there because kids are waiting for me. You were consistent with that. Then the other part, you started off small, and then you worked your way up. You start off small. Yeah, you said, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of think, pair, share. I'm going to do a think, pair, share. Matter of fact, I'm going to do some jigsaw. Now I got real good at that. Let me go ahead and start doing some PBLs. Let me do some Socratic seminars. And you're working your way up, and you've been doing that all year. Just understanding and trusting the process. Every day you trusted the process. And now you developed a team. You found some folks who were just like you. You found some folks who wanted this thing just like you did, who wanted to do better for kids just like you wanted, who struggled in the morning, but they were there for you to build you up when you walked through that door. Well, you went through some things this year, but somebody was there who was on your side, who boosted you up when you got to school that day. That is what you did. You built your team, and now guess what? We're seeing the results. Our kids are now a little bit happier. They're doing a little bit better. And why are they doing a little bit better? Because you were consistent, because you did those things. You were here every single day. You were here muscling your way through on possible snow days to ensure that kids got what they needed. You did that. You did that. And now what we have to do is to make sure that we're acknowledging the work that you guys have been doing throughout the year. So I have a quick story that I like to tell. I have two brothers. There's Tony and Steve, and I'm the guy in the middle, just in case you didn't know, the bald-headed guy in the middle. And today it seems like a day I want a little bit of recognition. I'm going for it. I tied all of those bow ties. They did not know how to tie a bow tie. I tied every one of them. Yeah, give it to me. Woo. I'm trying my best to get a little bit of credit, so thank you for that. But I tell a story about my big brother. So I'm the one in the middle, and I am the lost son. They call me Tony, they call me Steve, or they call me Little Reynolds when I go home. Because I'm the lost kid, because I was the quiet kid, I was the shy kid. But my brother Tone, he was that guy. He was the football player, the ladies loved him, they thought he was cute. He was a very charismatic. He's a guy who would come into a room and you would know he's in the room because he's that guy. And so he had a lot going on, people pulling at him left and right. Great football player. And so I was in the 8th grade, and as an 8th grader in Camden, South Carolina, you really didn't pay attention to the game. You just kind of walked around. So I'm walking around the field with my buddies. We're just walking around and not really paying attention at all. So I'm walking around the field, and I come close to the end zone, not paying attention to where I am, and then I hear the crowd going crazy. The crowd is really going crazy. So I look up the field, and I see my brother carrying the football. It feels like thousands of people yelling, "Go, go!" And I'm watching them, and I see it right now in slow motion as he's running through the line. They're diving at him, and I might be making this up a little bit. He's beast moding them, he's doing all this. He did a spin and hurdled folks, and he was killing it. It's all moving in slow motion, and I'm jumping, "Go, Tony, go, Tony, go, Tony." Thousands of people yelling, and cheering, going, and he scores the touchdown, and I'm standing in the back of the end zone, and he slaps my hand and high-fives me. He saw me. Out of all the things that were going on in that stadium, he saw me. Out of all the things that have been going on in this district, I see you. I see you. We see you. We see the hard work that you've been putting in. We see the dedication that you said, "I'm going to do what's best for kids." We see that, and we try to acknowledge that every single chance that we get because we are thankful for you. We are thankful. If nobody else ever told you that, I'm telling you this right now. I am thankful for you, for those things that you've done in the hallways, those things you do for kids that no one knows about, but you just do it because kids need it. We thank you. So give yourselves a hand. Thank you for everything you've done for our children this year.